Here we are right now to welcome back to the show once again, fresh from his virtual victory and the Ames, Iowa straw poll, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully the next president of the United States, Congressman Ron Paul. Congressman, welcome back. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate that. Thank you for the congratulations.
Well, I didn't want Andrew Napolitano to be the only one who got that in. I was watching that last night, and I got to tell you, there was an awful lot of concern and angst and anger and frustration among a lot of your supporters all across the country that the news media was playing you as the new star of the Invisible Man remake. And
it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. This may help us on the long run. Who knows?
Well, I wanted to ask you about that in the specific in the sense that the way the news media played is, I mean, Fox News, our network here, actually managed to squeeze you in today, which is a little ironic the way they couched it, but nevertheless, would it be accurate to say, Congressman, that Fox, CBS, ABC, NBC, CNN, and all the rest of those people are having a hard time with this because they are unable, both individually and philosophically, to handle the unadulterated, unexpurgated message of freedom and liberty and constitutional principles that you bring to this campaign?
I think that's part of it. I think part of it also is the fact that so often they don't quite understand how freedom really works. They just throw up their arms about Austrian economics and business cycles and the gold standard and the Federal Reserve, and they've all been taught different things. So I think it's philosophic, but I also think, it isn't quite by accident that they all treated me the same way over the weekend. I think they're starting to realize that we're making ground on our campaign and that we do challenge a lot of the establishment, if not all of the establishment, and maybe they think it's time that they better, make sure that nobody thinks this is serious and that they always bring up the fact, you can't win, can you? So maybe that's wishful thinking on their part.
Well, we've talked about a lot here on the air. I suspect your ears might have been burning earlier today. That whole business of, well, of course you can't win, he's a launch, blah blah blah. There's never any explanation. There's never any metric. There's never any algorithm. There's never any proof. There's never anything that they bring to the table except pejoratives and ad hominems, which are really getting kind of old and stale. But speaking of the invisibility and the days now since Ames, every newscast, we're hearing two clips from President Obama's tour, his Blame-a-Palooza tour, as one guy called it, where everybody's responsible for the problems of America except him and his administration and his socialist ideas and Keynesian philosophy. And the others are from Michelle Bachmann and Governor Perry and occasionally Mitt Romney thrown in here and there. Is it too early in the campaign to be concerned about the fact that you are? And the last I heard from the judge was that you were down at your home in Texas. Is this a measured response by your campaign?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we do what we have to do and take the interviews we can. We have a new ad out tomorrow morning. I'll leave for 3 days in New Hampshire, and then I'll spend a day in Florida. So we're very much involved, and I think our new ad is going real well. It's hard to measure this and how it will play out, but when you see Jon Stewart going to bat for us, a lot of people watch him, So I don't feel all that bad about it. I mean, because I expect to be, treated in a certain way because of their misunderstanding of their hostility toward our cause. So it doesn't surprise me a bit. It's a little bit discouraging. You'd think there should be more individuals understanding this, but just think if there were more John Stossels and Napolitano and people like you on radio and television, the whole thing would be different. And yet they are, the Keynesian people have all been educated the same way. So they literally haven't heard much about what we've talked about. They haven't been educated. So I guess I give them too much of a pass. There's a lot of other people, but I think it's a mixture. I think some of it is very deliberate in protecting their little empires, but others are sucked into this because it's so strange and they don't understand how freedom actually can work, and so much better than government authoritarianism.
Indeed, that quote the other day that you can't increase security by reducing freedom, I thought was a great line, and we have that Jon Stewart clip up on our website. We played chunks of it this afternoon, which I thought was absolutely brilliant, and in both its attack and its juxtaposition with what was really going on. There was one question that the judge asked you the other evening that I wonder if we could revisit for a moment, because apparently a lot of the audience watches the judge or heard about it, and saw the debate or saw one, missed the other, doesn't matter. And that was this business of Israel and Iran. It seems to have captured the attention of, and as a matter of fact, I've got a letter from a listener here. I could support Ron Paul except for his stance on Israel and Iran. Does he really believe that Iran is not developing a nuclear weapon? Does he really not believe that Iran is intent on destroying Israel? And so on. I don't know how many times you have to go over it, because I thought your answer to Judge Napolitano last night was pretty comprehensive and clear and concise. But could you give us a kind of a replay on that here this afternoon?
Yeah, I think the danger of Iran is grossly exaggerated. It's not that I believe that there are innocent people who don't care about their concerns about Israel. It's just that if you blow it out of proportion, you go off haywire. I mean, can you think of any worse enemy than the Soviets and the Chinese, who had killed millions and millions of their own people, and they all had nuclear weapons? And we treated them with kid gloves compared to what we're going to do with the Iranians. But the CIA and the United Nations have not had any concrete evidence that says that they're on the verge of having a nuclear weapon. And then when they say it, they say they're on the verge of getting a nuclear bomb. Well, what are they going to do with a single nuclear bomb? They don't even have a missile. They don't even have enough gasoline. They have to import gasoline. We punish them by blockading gasoline imports into their country. So that's the kind of nation that we're preparing our people to go to war against. And this is exactly what they did against the Iraqis. The Iraqis, there were no Al-Qaeda there, no weapons of mass destruction. They showed these little flimsy little airplanes and said, this is their drone that might drop an atomic bomb on us. I mean, it was absolutely absurd. So we got to put it in a proper context. No, I don't want them to get a nuclear weapon, but I don't want India to have one either, nor Pakistan, nor Israel. I'd like to get rid of all the nuclear weapons. But this whole idea of blowing out of proportion. And so let's say they did get one, and let's say one India there did lob a bomb on or attempted to lob a bomb on Israel. Israel has 300-400 of them. In 5 minutes, they can destroy the whole country. The Iranians have problems, but they really aren't suicidal. I mean, it would be total national suicide to do this. But, trying to understand it, you'd understand why if we were Iranians and we were surrounded by people that are all threatening nuclear attacks against us or attacking us, I think this would be very natural. The Iranians happen not to have a history of invading their neighbors. Literally hundreds and hundreds of years, they have not invaded their neighbors. We instigated the Iraqi invasion of Iran, just in the 1980s. So people need to look at the history and get a proper perspective of it and realize that we've done better with the Russians and the Chinese and the Vietnamese by pursuing peaceful relations and trade than we ever did with the fighting. The fighting accomplished nothing.
Yeah, I obviously, naturally, I totally agree. It is the drumbeat and the media and the constant repetition, and I think as H.L. Mencken said, the ongoing attempts to scare the crap out of everybody with hobgoblins and things like that. But just a quick aside on this that I'd love to hear your comment on, because so much of this seems to be a bordering on preemption. That if they do this or if they get this far, then we need to go in there and bomb pound the crap out of them. Can you think of a realistic, pragmatic circumstance where there would be any morality to preemption?
No, I don't know of any. I mean, I imagine the closest thing you could call it preemption, but then if what I'm going to say occurred, it would be a lot further along. I mean, if the ships were on our shores and they were about ready to get off and they had no other reason to be on our ships, that would be a time that we should consider it. But just think, just recently, we put large naval war vessels in the Black Sea. That would be like China putting war vessels in the Gulf of Mexico. So we still have to watch it. But no, I think the Bush doctrine of preemption is a very, very dangerous program. And if we pursue that, we become the aggressors. We literally have been the aggressors. That means the Republic is dead, and we have an empire. And my goal is to make sure we reverse this trend. I'm sorry I can't go on too much longer, but if you had one more quick one, then I have to run.
There's no way to ask you a quick question, Congressman. That is not possible. I did want to ask you about your point about the impact on the economy by bringing the troops home from all around the world and so on. And what would we do with those troops when we got here? Would they be dispersed and assigned to border security or what?
Not directly, but the resources could be used in that manner. But, the immediate return of the troops, even if you didn't resolve the question of how many troops we had to have, but the immediate return of the troops means that all their salaries would be spent here instead of Japan and South Korea and Germany and the Middle East. That money would be spent here and would have to give a bit of a boost to our economy.
Understood. I'm indebted to you for the time. Always a pleasure and a privilege having you on the show. I hope we can continue the conversation when time makes itself available to you in the busy weeks and months ahead. Thanks again, and congratulations in Iowa. Thank you very much, Congressman Ron Paul. You bet. Here on the radio.